Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Creative CEO. I'm your host, Georgie Turner. This is the podcast for anybody running a creative business alongside parenthood or whatever else you've got going on, because I know what it's like when you're trying to juggle a gazillion things at once. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for listening in. If you are becoming a regular listener, I absolutely love you. And don't forget to go and give this a rating or a review on whatever platform that you're listening to this. It really helps my podcast grow. As you can tell, I am early on in my podcast journey and I'm absolutely loving it. And I really want to continue helping other artists to make sure that they are creating the life of their dreams. So I can't believe that we're already in the third week of January. I started the month off really on a positive. I was absolutely buzzing and I created 2 original pieces of art, which I'm really over the moon with. So that was a huge boost at the beginning of the year. And then I've realized how hard it is to sell in January and I really wasn't prepared for it. So if you don't know, I quit my job back in May. So I've been a full-time artist since September. I was a teacher, so I still had to finish the year. But yeah, so I've been a full-time artist since September. And maybe it's because I started my business in one of the more kind of lucrative times of the year. I don't know. People were very much in a buying mood, and I had some great success last year. I made lots of original sales, and this time last year I still had a part-time teacher wage coming in, and then this January I've realized that I really should have prepared for it more. And when I say prepared, I should have really looked at my finances and made sure that I had not only the money to cover my costs, but also make sure that I've got people paying for the rest of their commission before the end of January, because I said to some of my commission clients, you don't need to pay me till the 1st of Feb. And then I was like, that's stupid, because if they're late paying, all of my direct debits come out on the 1st of Feb. So why on earth did I do that? So that is a lesson learned. If you're going to give people the option of paying, make sure you give yourself a couple of days so that you are covered, like your cash flow does not fall short. But yeah, I've realized that January is definitely a hard month of selling, and next year what I need to do is prepare my finances much earlier, like a few months before, and have January sorted so that I can just focus on drawing in January, because that's what I started the month off buzzing about, because I was like, all I can do, like I've got commissions lined up, I can do my commissions, I can do originals, and that's been really fun. That's lessons learned. My husband told me it'll be okay, so we'll just battle on. So what I wanted to talk to you today about was, I have heard quite a few times on several podcasts about systems in place for businesses. And I've never really considered what my systems are, because when you are working by yourself, I think it's easy to forget that you do have systems too. You just might not realize what they are, because you never have to share those systems with anybody. The systems are just in your head. But really what I am going to work on in the next couple of weeks is making sure I've got smooth systems for getting clients on board, getting my prints out. But even though I do all these things naturally just via email, I think there's a lot of admin that's involved in running a business. And when you're like on your own, like I am, always being the one that is sending messages back to people when you've got inquiries and doing all of the following up and the chasing up invoices and all that sort of stuff. I think that's why sometimes I feel overwhelmed by the admin, because I don't have automated systems in place for those particular parts of the business. So I want to, over the next couple of weeks, consider how I can use automations and use AI more for helping me in my small business. Because even though I hate the thought of AI, like it does freak me out, I have actually realized that I do use some apps and I have some subscriptions that are AI actually really helps in those particular apps. So I'm trying to not think of it as a completely scary thing. I'm trying to think of it, how can I use AI and how can I use automations to help myself feel less overwhelmed by the admin side, and how I can help my business run a bit more smooth. In a couple of episodes time, or maybe next week, I will talk about the systems. But for today, I want to talk about the different apps that I use to help me with my business. So everything from design to email and even down to my photos that I've got on my phone, photos and videos. The first subscription that I've got, which is the bigger one, is Shopify. Shopify is the website that I use to host my site, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. I have used Wix in the past and I've used Squarespace, and Shopify is by far the best one for e-commerce. I've recently done a lot of website development on my site, and I downloaded a brand new theme, and this particular theme gives me lots of support, and it's just a really fantastic website for selling actual art online. And then you can also customize it so you can have pages where you can talk about commissions and talk about other aspects of your business as well. If the theme or the basic plan that you've got yourself subscribed to doesn't have the feature that you want, there are lots of other apps that you can add to your Shopify store to create these extra elements to your brand, such as like loyalty schemes, reward schemes. I've got an app called Judge Me installed, and that is how I get all of my reviews collected. Now, those reviews don't correlate to like Google or Facebook reviews, but I think that it's such a good app for adding reviews onto your website because there's no sign up needed. I find it really off-putting if I go to give somebody a review and it asks me to sign into my Google account or something. I've noticed with the Judge Me reviews is I just have to send them to the website, and there's just a button that says leave your own review, and they just do it there and then. They don't have to put in anything, which I think helps get reviews. So Shopify is the main website, and then I add on Judge Me. I have added on apps in the past that do upsells for you. So if you've ever been on a website and you've bought something and then another screen comes up and it says because you've bought this, you can get this product for half price, but you've only got 10 minutes to make your choice. That's the sort of thing that you can find on Shopify. If you really want to sell people on your website, I would highly recommend Shopify over any of the others. And then another company app subscription, what we want to call it, that I use is my email. And I've recently changed to Klaviyo. I used to use MailChimp, but Klaviyo has just got a lot more features, and it's just a bit superior in its way of analytics and being able to diversify your email subscription people to what they like to buy and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really glad that I've changed to Klaviyo, and that links to Shopify. So I've got a pop-up on my Shopify where people can enter their email and they get an instant 15% off. That is something that I built on Klaviyo, and it links straight to my Shopify, and then people can use that directly onto my Shopify store without them having to like input anything. It's really sophisticated, and like I was saying earlier about AI, it's got some AI features. So if I've written a subject line, I can ask them to give me some suggestions on how I can make that more exciting or more enticing, whatever I want it to look like. The one thing that I struggle with a lot with the business side is writing, which is funny because I was quite good at English language at school, but I really struggle with putting what I've got in my head into words. I've been getting better at using ChatGPT. Now, the reason I say getting better is because when I first started using it, I just put in such a generic request that the answers that kept coming back to me just felt so... They just didn't sound like me. They just sounded awful. And what I've learned now is I've learned how to request things on this AI program. If you don't know what ChatGPT is, it's a free tool that you can use to get answers back for any questions. You can help yourself write product descriptions. You can help yourself write content for your website. It's really good, but you do have to be really specific on how you speak to it. So before, I might have written in, if I wanted to write a product description for a piece of equestrian art, I might have written, can you write me a product description for a chestnut horse piece of art? And it would come back with words like, look at this stunning masterpiece of a chestnut horse with a rider on, and it's this beautiful, stunning masterpiece of a blah, blah, blah. And I was like, stop saying masterpiece. I don't ever call my stuff masterpiece. And it was really off-putting until I learned this from another artist. You have to be so, so specific. So now I would say, I'm a British artist and I'm writing a product description for a piece of For a colour pencil horse the image shows a chestnut horse with a rider on top. Both subjects are facing away. I want the product description to sound like, and I might list bullet points so I want it to sound like, and you have to make it really obvious and specific about what the sort of thing that you want. So you're not, if you just put out a really short question to ChatGPT, it will just throw something awful back at you. So you have to learn to be really specific. And if they come back with a product description that doesn't really sound quite right, you can say, oh, I like the first 2 lines, but could you make the second 2 lines sound less, I sometimes tell it to sound less cheesy. So I also say to them, could you write this in English, not American English, in UK English, whatever you call it. So you can be, it's just such a brilliant tool, and I've started using it more and more because I struggle with the writing side. Another AI tool that I have used, I don't always use it because it is another monthly cost, and you do have the free option, but it's not quite as good, is ManyChat. So ManyChat is an automated DM app, and you can sync it to your Instagram or your Meta, so Facebook and Instagram. You will put in instructions. So if somebody comments bespoke, that's one of my ones, they will get an automated DM, and then I will decide what I want the person who sees that DM to do. Sometimes it's, I will send a direct to my website, so all they have to do is comment a word, and then on the DM that is automated, it sends them directly to my website if that's what I want them to do. If I'm trying to get them onto my email list, then it'll be like another couple of things that I'll ask them to do. I'll be like, click here and then sign up to my email, and then you'll get an instant 15% off or whatever it is. So you can ask ManyChat to do various steps depending on what your goal is with the automation. Another app that I love, and I decided to buy a yearly subscription because it was only like, I don't know, £12, is InShot. And you can get InShot for free, but you do have to watch an advert every single time you export a file. If you are happy to watch an advert every time you export a file, then you can just do everything for free, and you can take the InShot logo off the video whilst you're editing. So you can do it completely for free. But I thought for like £12, maybe it wasn't that cheap. Don't quote me on that. But I just remember thinking, I'm using it for pretty much all of my podcasts and my YouTubes and some of my reels, and I thought I may as well just buy it. So InShot is a fantastic app. Today, I'm recording this on a Monday, and I'm pretty sure I can never say his name, Mansouri from Instagram. He said that Instagram are bringing out their own editing app, so it'll be interesting to see when that rolls out, whether that compares to InShot or not. But InShot is a fantastic video editing app. I would 100% recommend downloading InShot. Another editing app which I use all the time is Canva. I use Canva for all of my physical paper marketing material, anything that I've ever designed, even my prints. It's $10.99 a month. It's just like the best money I've ever spent, and I would highly recommend it if you are trying to make stuff yourself. Most people do have to design stuff themselves before they send them off to a printers. It's the cheapest way to do it. If you've got the money, you might want to just get like a graphic designer to do it for you and get them to design it. But if you are doing everything yourself, like I am, funny enough, I actually did graphic design at uni. That was my degree. I wasn't very good at it. I kept trying to draw things freehand, and my tutors just hated my work. And they were like, so who's come from A-level art? And I was like, oh yeah, me. And they were like, forget everything you've ever known because this is completely different. And I kept thinking, I remember like the first day thinking, oh, so you're already dissing art? I was like, brilliant. I don't know why I just didn't switch to fine art like a term in when I realised it wasn't for me, but I'm not very good at change. So I just thought I'd just keep going, and yeah, I've got a degree, got a 2-2, so whatever. I'm not saying that means that I'm great on Canva. You don't need to be a graphic designer to use Canva. It's got some fantastic templates that you can use anyway. But yeah, I like making everything myself. So Canva has been a godsend. Then I have a yearly subscription to Google Drive. If I ever added on staff, you can add on users so that they could access all your files. So all of my files live on Google Drive, and it obviously comes with the Gmail account, and you don't have to have the the Gmail in your email address. My email address is georgie@georgieturnerartist.co.uk. And if I ever had any more staff, I could give them an email address that had their name on it. I actually use Google Drive a lot because I do all my accounting on the spreadsheets of Google Drive. I love my Google spreadsheets. My husband's an accountant and he's made some very sort of sexy formulas on my spreadsheets. As I grow with my business, I'm definitely going to, at some point, sign up to some sort of more accountancy software or get an accountant, because I think I need help on that side of it. But that's for the future. For now, I love doing it myself because I can make my spreadsheets all pink and girly. What else? I also pay an extra subscription to increase my storage on my phone because, as everybody else who's creative knows, you take a lot of videos and you take a lot of photos, especially when you do art. So I have to pay for a bit of extra money for, I think it's £9 a month for extra storage for Apple. And that's, again, it's been a great help. I've tried so hard to decrease the amount of photos I've got on my phone, but I'm always full. So I thought if I just increase my storage, then I don't have to worry so much. And then I will transfer things onto Google Drive that's really old that I don't need to have easily accessible on my actual phone for Instagram or whatever. I put onto my Google Drive because there's a huge amount of storage on there. There's just two more that I want to talk to you about. So one of them is very new to me and is how I've actually started editing this podcast. And it's called Descript. It translates what I'm saying into a transcript, and you can edit all the bits you don't want to include in just by taking out the actual words on the script instead of having to go through the whole video yourself. There's also an AI tool on Descript which helped me to write my podcast notes for the actual platform. So when you can use AI wisely to help you with the areas that you struggle in, it really is beneficial in that way. And the final one, which it's not a subscription, it's just the app that I use to collect my direct debit payments. And it does take money off me per monthly payment, but it's like a couple of pounds. And that is called Go Cardless. It's just such a brilliant, easy website to collect payments on, and the customers don't have to sign up to an account. They get an email saying, can you set up a direct debit mandate? And they just put their bank details in and then it's all set up to go. And it's such a brilliant, easy way to collect direct debit payments. So if you are interested in getting yourself signed up to Go Cardless, please send me a message or an email, because if I refer you, then I get £100 and I don't want to miss out on. You can just have an account there ready to do direct debit payments. So if you are thinking of doing that, let me know and then I can get a little bit of money. So that's it. Those are my apps. So I'll just quickly run through them again and I will write them all in the show notes for you. So Shopify for my website, Judge Me for my reviews, which is linked to my website, Klaviyo for my emails, ManyChat for automated DMs, ChatGPT, which is free for helping me write product descriptions, InShot for all of my video editing, Descript for all of my podcast editing, Google Drive, which holds my email account. It's got a calendar, it's got storage space, it's got spreadsheets, everything that I need to do the real admin side of my business, Canva for all of my designing, marketing, all that kind of stuff, even just taking the background out of photos, I use Canva for. And then I've got an extra subscription with Apple to increase my storage. So yeah. Oh, and Go Cardless for my direct debit payments. So that was a really quick episode. I thought if I just do one episode where I talk purely about the apps that I use to help me, then hopefully one of those will help you. Oh, there was one more that is really useful for artists, really. This was an app that I just decided to buy outright. I think that was like 20 quid a year. It's called DaVinci Eye, and it's essentially you put your image that you want to draw on your phone and it will project it onto your canvas or your paper. So the big drawings behind me, if you're watching on YouTube, I either have to print out like 4 A3 sheets of reference photo and take them together and then trace them down. But by using the DaVinci Eye, you can just do the trace but via a projection, and it's just an app on your phone. So that's another little one that was useful for artists. Please let me know in the reviews if you love this episode, and I will read all of the reviews. If you want to ever get in touch, my email is georgie@georgieturnerartist.co.uk, or you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest at Georgie Turner Artist. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye.